Hey everybody, it's your friend Sarmate here, and we're back with another episode of Settlement Survival. I hope you're having a fantastic and amazing day today. And this one, we are going to do a couple of little things. I want to continue to develop our town a little bit. We have this little area kind of down over in here that we started at the last episode. We got a ton of farms ready to go over here. We need some workers for them. And then our new little neighborhoody village is coming together pretty okay. We have some houses in here. We have our senior housing built, good to go. And all these other little buildings in here are now operating. So we have 3 people in this repair shop because we're having a little bit of a repair issue. As you can see, we got a farm here. We got several buildings up in here that aren't doing super great. Up one over here. And then all the way over here even, you can see we got wrench, wrench. So lots of things needing repairs. And I want to use that to show you something that I learned kind of by accident. So if we go to services here and we go to repair shop, so there's a couple ways you can cycle through your repair shop. So right now, I'm not sure where I have. So you can do this little maneuver and you can see right here, our repair shops are blinking blue. Cool. Well, I learned that if you right click on this here repair shop, it will cycle through your repair shops that you have throughout the world. And as I'm doing so, we can see that a lot of these have nobody working in them. So we will have to fix that. Let's go ahead and hit our, well, in order to fix that, I guess, we're going to need some workers. So we don't have very many free laborers right now, a whole 1. Luckily, we do have an immigrant on a timeline. I did back off 1 person on all of these plantations that were getting us potatoes, because look at how many potatoes we have. All of these are potatoes. So tons and tons of them. We're crushing it with food now, so I'm happy about that. So I backed off a couple workers there to have a little bit more workers, and of course they disappeared pretty much as soon as I got them. And I'm really considering doing the same thing over here. Let's kind of just go through. We'll knock these down to 2. I didn't do it initially because I want more oats right now. We're using them for a couple of things. Milling them into flour. We're also milling them into malt. So I wanted to have some of those, but we'll just back it off into 2. If we really have to. We have tons of dense farms over here ready to go. We're just waiting for people really in these farms. So now that we have the 11 workers, let's go ahead and find one of our repair shops, and we need to replenish this. At this point, we probably want at least 2 people in each repair shop. But because of the current level of workers that I have, I'm going to just leave it at least 1. Now we're at 10 laborers, so I'm going to leave it like that. And once we get our immigrants here, we'll grab those guys. And then we'll kind of fill it in a little bit more. And I want to do a trade. I did a couple of trades in between episodes. I'll show you the update. So with Rania, we are 4 and about 3/4, looking pretty good. I'm trying to get Rania to level 5 so that we can get this thing. All citizens can receive education here. Generation suite of technology experience from nearby research institutes and research academies is plus 50%. So pretty decent. I'd like to get that thing built up. We also did a little trade with Meow here, and we are level 5, easily in level 5 here. So we now have our cooking skill, and then we have the Great Palace. So check this thing out. This thing is pretty wild. So under blueprints, Great Palace, 10,000 planks, 10,000 cut stone, 1,000 bricks, and 1,000 gems. So while you're building this, you won't have a town hall. So what I kind of want to do is I want to get this thing, the Great Palace. We won't be able to place it here where our current town hall is, but I want to have it because it's awesome looking. While we're building this, we won't have this town hall. We have to tear this down. So I'm kind of thinking is let's get the products that we need, so 10,000 planks, etc., and get them all stockpiled, and then let's grab whatever immigrants show up, and then we'll get the Great Palace built. We'll prioritize it, and then we'll get that on the way, because I think it'll be a really cool thing to get, but that's a lot of materials we're going to need. And we aren't doing particularly very well with cut stone, 156, so that's something to work on. Planks, doing okay. Let's up this to 10,000. That's the limit we really want, so let's go ahead and do it. We have some timber. We're doing all right with our timber stock. I did swap out the forest farms that were down here. We now have a dense forest farm in its place. But again, no workers, waiting on those guys. And we're doing okay without it, so we don't really need it at this moment. Looks like we got to rebuild a couple homes over here. We can do that real quick. Mark them. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at now. We're doing pretty great over here. Waiting on a couple of these luxury beddings for this new building that we got, but we'll get those eventually here. And already, these are all pretty new buildings. And it looks like this latrine here is in need of repair. So we have the 3 workers right there. Hopefully they can get to it pretty quickly here. And then for techs, there's a couple points that we have. I would like to put 1 into entertainment to reduce the stress by 10%. So I want to check this out too. So happiness is at, looks like approximately 99. We have 99 and then 100. So I'm guessing it's probably like 99, at least 0.5. So let's go ahead and activate this and let's see if this goes up or it will go down. Okay, sure. Okay, our happiness went down a little bit. That's really bizarre. Anyways, so we got that. And then something that I don't normally get is right here in the gears. So these things are kind of interesting. Unlock advanced tool formulas for gears and toolkits from the forge. Gears can be used for upgrading and improve the efficiency of machining buildings. So we have all these materials, of course. So I think we're going to go ahead and get the remodel gear, and we'll check that out. We do have a forge that is open, so we'll go over there and set that up for gears. And then finally in processing, we don't have a protect point yet, but I would like to start working in some leather wear. I would like to get some leather shoes, so we'll do that. We currently do have a fairly good stock of some textiles. You can see here 5,800 tons of straw shoes. We got that figured out. Oh, and we're getting here. Ooh, wandering peasants. Over 2 dozen peasants were wandering in your town looking for a place to settle. The soil of their former settlement was poor and yielded few crops. Absolutely, we could use 24 people. The peasants accepted your invitation and settled in your town with the seeds they used to plant for their ex-settlement. What kind of seeds? Tree seeds. Okay, that's cool. But anyway, yeah, shoes. So we have 2,600 leather shoes and about 1,000 leather boots. I did trade for both of these things. I had about 1,000 in the leather boot trade, and I think got like 5,000 leather shoes from the trade that we did quite a while ago. So we aren't producing anything new, but we do have some shoes. Pretty great. That's something that I've been using to purchase when we go and visit some of these factions that we're trying to gain a little bit of rep with. And now that we are back at 31 laborers, let's go ahead and get some trade set up. Check out how many trade goods we have too. We're doing super duper with trade goods. I would like to buy some more toilets, some more cats, some dogs. I want to upgrade our senior housing. I want another toilet. I also want some scarecrows, all sorts of things that we can purchase to help with our rep situation. Rania, that's the one I want to focus on next, so let's go ahead and set that up. It's nothing too wild. And then since we have the option of having multiple caravans here, I think what we'll do, we'll push for Rania and for Carlos. So we'll go ahead and try and get these things completed. So I'm going to set those up right now. All right, we got them all set up here. With Rania, we are going to be selling goods worth about 90,000. You can see what we got here, some tobacco, jade, statues, and some swords. And then we're going to be buying a bunch of things, some more shoes, toilets, and some cats and dogs. And then for Carlos, we have selling tons of jewelry and gems for a total of about 80,000. And then I'm going to buy a bunch of scarecrows and then start to work on our stock for that cut stone. 740 on the way, and we'll be spending about 70,000. And so let's go ahead and turn the game back on. These guys will get situated here. We got 14 people out for these caravans. That's quite a few people. We're down to 9 laborers right now. That's a pretty good chunk. We'll do another trade caravan when these other citizens get here. And then I was checking out our Easter eggs. So remember when we got these with our bunnies? These guys are hanging out right over in here. Got some bunny rabbits. So look at this. So if we say Easter eggs here, we have tons of them. Blah, 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 but can only be applied to trading with Lorenzo. So that's very interesting to me. I'm wondering if Lorenzo gets some kind of bonus from this, but I want to find out. So we currently have like no rep with Lorenzo because I find Lorenzo to be not that great, like pretty bad actually. I would like these to be changed a little bit, some buffs going out. Hardwood tools, these are pretty good durability wise, but we have steel tools which match the durability of hardwood tools, so these are pretty much pointless. A barber shop, we have hospitals at this point. Quick hunting, what does this say? Increases the work efficiency of hunters. That could be okay, especially at the beginning. And then we get to the ancient smeltery. This thing is okay. It's a little bit better than our forge, unless they buffed it in the last patch. We have another patch here. Max capacity is a little bit higher. That could be okay. A smaller fishing port. Ooh, use fishing nets to produce oysters. Interesting. Okay, that's different. And then we have a bank here. Money deposited in the bank cannot be used, and you get a little bit of interest. So that's an interesting concept. Hardwood furniture, just another type of furniture there. But then we get to powerful physique. Citizens are now physically better to withstand the cold. Maximum warmth increased by 100. Pretty good. And then the Great Castle is, of course, just a giant apartment building, essentially. It's pretty cool, but it's nothing super duper that we really need right now. I want to get the rip up anyways, because that's something that I want to do, kind of complete our game here. We'll wait for these 2 caravans to come back, or when we get some more immigrants in here. Just hold up for those. You can see our caravan right here heading on out. Crap, I was going to buy some more luxury beddings for this. But instead, let's go ahead and we'll find where we got our luxury beddings. I know we're producing them somewhere. All right, so I found where we potentially were making the luxury beddings. Currently set up for regular old bedding sets. I'm going to change this to luxury beddings. Now that we have some silk, we still have tons of feathers. And then let's go ahead and make some luxury bedding. Persian tapestry would be a really good trade resource, 27 a piece, and it's only taken some wool, but we don't have any sheep, so that's not going to work anyways. Luxury bedding, we'll get that started. Ooh, look at all these buildings around here that have collapsed. So that's kind of sucky. Maybe that's why we had so many workers. So something you could get in their technologies to make the rebuild process a little bit more simple. If you go over here, down this little tree here, we can't quite get it because we don't have this tech. You can get this rebuild tool. It's a click and drag. Instead of having to go through each one of these and hitting rebuild like I'm going to have to do, you can click one corner and drag a big box across, and it will highlight them, and they'll just get rebuilt. Super handy, especially if you're playing with disasters. Absolutely take advantage of that technology, but of course we're not, so I'm not going to bother. I'll just go through, and we'll just make sure that these are all set up to rebuild. So we'll go ahead and do that. Keep our eyes peeled for destroyed buildings. I do want to keep developing this area. I mentioned a little bit in our last episode. I want to make this a little bit self-sufficient. The travel time is quite far for goods, especially things like the smithy and everything like that. So we want to have all that stuff local right here. We do need to set up a couple of mines to get some coal and some iron ore coming in. We are really low on iron ore in general, so we got to get that figured out. So let's go ahead. We'll throw in a mine over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our deep mine. This is a fantastic little spot for our deep mine. Let's go as far over as we can, about right there. And I want to do a second one for coal, one for iron ore. And we'll go ahead and we'll, of course, tie in our obsidian road here as well. And we can use this little spot right in here for a couple of industrial buildings, kind of up in this space. We are outside of the range of the area where we can build houses. We'll take advantage of that with our housing stuff. But since this is outside right in here, we'll go ahead and we'll put some industrially things down. And that's what we'll do the smithies and things like that. So let's go ahead and I'll throw in a couple right now. We do need them to get built, of course. So let's go ahead. We want tools. Let's get one for carts. Well, we're gonna need gears too. I'll do the whole line of them. That'll work. We'll use it for sure. So we'll set those up, let those get on the way, and then let's go for clothing factories as well. Let's do 2. I want one for probably warmer clothes, and then costumes is another thing that I did have to swap to turn back on over up in here, because this is the only spot we're making costumes. We were making, I believe it was down jackets over here, but we needed some more costumes for our theaters, so we went ahead and we put those in there. Oh, and this was a smithy that I was thinking about for our gears, so let's go ahead and check that out. I was mistaken. I was thinking that the smithy was the thing that had the gears, but it is the forge. So we're going to have to find our forge here. Oop, we got to set this back up for some soap, so we had to rebuild it. So let's go ahead and find our forge. So here's our forge. We need to use this to make gears. You can see here they are. Steel tools and regular old steel. Looks like we're hurting pretty badly on steel reserves. I'm guessing that's because of our iron ore reserves being very, very low. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll get another one of these buildings up and running, and we'll use that one for gears. This one we want to keep as building kits. We do have some immigrants that arrived, so let's go ahead and grab those peeps. We'll accept 32 immigrants. That's awesome. Ooh, a wild tree. We are going to go ahead and transplant it. If you don't transplant it, it hurts your respawn rates on trees. So we're going to go ahead and just do that. Oh, so we mentioned going through our repair shops and adding workers. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make sure we got 2 on each. We also want to make sure that this is kind of very similar to our marketplaces. We want to make sure that we got enough workers in our marketplaces. I think most of these have at least 3 in them. This one's got 2. It's a pretty small area. This one's got 3. This got 3. This got 3. It's got 2. So yeah, so keep that in mind too. If you notice that your stuff seems to be getting pretty slow, and you have this logistics learned delivery right here, this is going to have the workers in the marketplaces or small marketplaces deliver the food, water, or fuel to nearby citizens. If you have that activated, you have to have enough workers to bring the people their goods. So keep that in mind if you're working on that. Okay, so with those adjustments to the repair shop, hopefully that'll be enough to fix it up. Still going around making sure that we're getting our repairs in here and filling in some slots. 40 laborers all of a sudden. Man, the whiplash. It's like we have tons of laborers and then we have no laborers. Back and forth like crazy. So we got the smithy good to go over here. I'm going to pause it for now. Wait for some more workers to live over here. We got a bunch of old folks, but I would like to have some younger people live here so that they work close to where they live. And then we were waiting on some lanterns. Again, man, lanterns are a big issue still for us. So let's go back over into our lantern-y area, which is going to be over here. Ooh, it looks like we are missing glass bottles. Okay, let's follow the chain down. Of course, here's our glass bottle maker, and it looks like we just need another kiln factory making glass bottles, which we could absolutely do, especially now that we have a little bit of workers. So we'll grab another kiln factory, and we're running out of space. We'll plop it down right over there. And while we do have the kiln factory, I'm going to run over here and let's get a couple of them set up down in this area. Now, we do want to take advantage of the water over here. So what I think we'll do, let's check where this is. Okay, so we are going to run into our housing area if we go right in that corner. So let's extend this. I won't build houses on this side, but we will build some industrially things over here. So let's go kiln factory, and we want 1, 2, and 3. 1 for glass, brick, and then glass bottles. We got another caravan coming in. I did see the first one, so we're getting there. We got to check that and see where our reps are sitting, and if we need to send out another caravan to increase the rep with somebody. Lorenzo will be our target after these. We'll check to see where these guys are, and if they need a little bit, we'll send them back. But we really would like to get over to Lorenzo and max out our last reputation. Looks like we need a lot more steel over here, so ooh, that's another thing that we could do over here. So let's go ahead and get our smelters. We are going to need to have the refined fuel factories as well. Let's tuck this in as close as we can. There's our fuel factory, and then finally, we are also going to want to have forges. So let's go for 2. Now that we know that we are going to need to have 1 for gears and 1 for the building kits as well. So we'll go ahead and lie those out right there like so, and then I'm going to put a road in here. Great, so those are all getting set up. We are going to need a lot of workers for that. It would also be beneficial to have another warehouse in this vicinity, which we don't have any of. So let's go ahead and get another warehouse plopped down. I'll put it about right here, and let's do 2 of them. And we'll go ahead and we'll put a road in there as well. Back up to our Grand Bazaar. We're still waiting for that first caravan from Rania to get here. It'll be here very shortly. It's like in the city. We could probably see it here in just a second. But we need to wait for it to get back. But let's go ahead and check out our faction reputations. Carlos is maxed out. So again, that means we have the Great Temple. And now we have Mineral Rich. Increases the output of silver and products from gold miner cabins by 100%. Pretty good. Waiting on that Rania caravan. So we'll check back shortly. While we have a space and labors, let's go ahead and we'll set up Lorenzo. We are going to dump a ton of resources into this. So let's go ahead and we will pause the game. I'm pausing the game because if you don't, it happens to me all the time. I try to set up a caravan and then I will run out of laborers and then you kind of waste your time. So I'm going to pause the game, go ahead and set up for Lorenzo. All right, Lorenzo is all set up. We have our premium. We have 7 people going out to reduce that risk of death. I'm going to add a couple more even. It's going to take longer to get back, 479 days. You can see that this is changing when we add more workers, but I want that risk of death really low because this is going to be a pretty big transaction. So we have all sorts of things here, about 30,000 worth of money, and then we have 13,000 here. Buying some more cut stones, buying some more planks, trying to get enough for that upgraded town center thing. So we're going to go ahead and we will turn the game back on, and we're going to go ahead and form this. Send that out. Wow, so we had 7 people out on this caravan, and only 3 have remained. That's not great. So with 10, hopefully this gets to where we want it to go. That is on the way. We'll see where we get for Lorenzo. Again, we are currently at 0, so I'm hoping that this gets us at least to level 3, but we'll see. So with this other caravan on the way back, oh, it looks like we have this here, this kiln factory. Let's go ahead and get our glass bottles back up and running. And that should do it, that little ding noise that we just heard for Rania, Carlos, and Yao, all level 5. Awesome. So over here again, let's check out what we got. Better trade. Price of all trading goods has increased by 25%. And then this thing, oh yeah, we got to get this thing built up. So let's go ahead and we can find that here. So we have a bunch of wonders now. We are going to be requiring many items. 10,000 books. We are currently not even creating any books, so we're going to have to import a lot of this stuff. But I think what we'll do first, do these share any resources? They don't. Excellent. So let's go ahead and get this thing placed. Wow, this is a monster structure. So what I'd like to do with this thing is I like to place it, and preferably in a spot that has lots of space. And the reason for that is because I will go ahead and put all of our research institutes within this range because it's going to increase their output. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take advantage as much as possible for this radius here. And that looks pretty good lined up to me. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and put that down. And then, of course, grab our obsidian road. And I was pretty close to that lining up. And we'll get that on the way. Super awesome. Okay, so we got this forge good to go. And let's get our gears coming in. We need some more steel. So now we're down to 20 laborers again. So we are using 10 for a caravan. I know that. But I would like to get this going. So let's check out our steel situation here. And I think that it's the iron ore that's the problem. Refined fuel looks good. Let's go ahead and toss a couple more workers in the deep mine here. And now we're at 18 laborers, 17 laborers. I'm going to leave it like that. Then we have our kiln factory here. What was the thing? Looks like we are missing bricks for this. So let's go ahead and get a brick worker in there. And we will add an additional one because we're going to need a bunch of bricks too. So that's all revised. Good to go. Looks like glass bottles here are only at 200. I'm going to up that cap. 500. Looks great. Got our caravan heading on out over here. That's awesome. And then let's come back over in here. So we have lots of workers here now. That's great. But we need to get these base... Oops. We need to get these base resources figured out first. So especially with these clothing factories, we may need to build a delivery station or some corrals around here to get the bare resources. So we'll work on that here. And then over here, of course, we are going to need these mines completed first. Now, what I should have done is purchase some lanterns because we're going to need like 240, it looks like, approximately. So we'll have to get into that here in a little bit. But I think the rest of that stuff we'll work on in the next episode. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Settlement Survival. Hey, and if you are having Thanksgiving this week, have a fantastic and safe Thanksgiving. And I'll see you again soon.